Hi everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. In this class, we are starting with the new part of your ancient history series, and here we are discussing NCERT from class 6 to 12th. In today's lecture, we will discuss about the later Vedic era and the rise of Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, so two topics will be discussed today. First is the later Vedic era, and second part of the lecture is going to be about the rising of Buddhism and Jainism, how the rising started. Okay, so to understand the rising, we need to understand that what changed in the new later Vedic era that led to this new questioning. Okay, so that's why this chapter is about new questions and ideas, which is mentioned in your class 6 NCERT, and this chapter is again repeated, this topic is again repeated in your class 11th and 12th NCERT. Fine, so basically we are discussing the time period in the later Vedic era, and we need to see how these new stupas, this new kind of architecture became so famous in India. This is something which you can see here. It looks like a mound. It is a stupa, and just to understand, it was not a new concept. Okay, so many mounds were already there in India. So the practice of making these mounds was prevalent in the Vedic era also, but it became very popular when it got attached with Buddhism, and to just keep the relics of Buddha or the disciples of Buddhas, those relics, those items, to keep it safe, they created mounds, and these mound like structures also had double stairway. They had different parts, and it was known as a stupa, so that we can always feel that energy while going to that area. Okay, so it became a worship place also. Here in this image you can see the stupa of Sarnath, where Buddha first gave his speech after getting the enlightenment. So Sarnath, and this building is known as a stupa, and it was built to mark the place where Buddha first taught his message, and you will learn that message very soon. So before I come to the topic of later Vedic era, you need to understand some new developments happening in India, which will also lead to the art and cultural development, as we need to interlink everything here. So we need to understand that for the Vedic era, we don't have many architecture or works related to that. The sculpture making will be very famous after the rise of Buddhism and Jainism in India. So you will see that around the time of Mauryan age, we will be able to see the sculptures. Before that, we had no sculptures at all. Like Indus Valley civilization was there, yes, we had Mother Goddess sculpture, and we had that Tribhanga dancing girl, sculpture, the bronze statue, yes, that was there. But that civilization declined, right? And it was found much later, right, in the modern time. So we can't just think about that particular scenario, because now with the Vedic era, a new age started, and in that new age the sculptures were not that famous, because here the idol worship was not famous in the Vedic era. But in the later Vedic era, some idol worships will be there, and you will be see the evidences of architectures getting started. They are religious architectures. Okay, so let's understand how the difference got created. Basically, if you talk about the later Vedic era, you need to see few questions, like what made it different. Okay, how it was so different. So number one, people became to see so many economic disparities, differences. So as economy was rising, surplus economy, surplus agriculture, a lot of trade and commerce was there. Merchants, artisans, goldsmiths, silversmiths, ironsmiths, and carpentry was a new business now. So many new business, new trends and ideas came up. So economy was rising, but with the rise of economy, we will also see the discrimination. in the society. There will be many disparities with rich and poor. You will be able to see among the Varna system people also, you will be able to see this. Now the society became very complex as there was a kind of a tension, chaos. People were not able to understand that even after having so many things, why am I not happy? That's why it is always said that you can always understand that life is having so many goals and targets set for you. But ask those successful people who are there on a position how difficult it is for them to live the life now. Because if you're not successful yet, you still have a goal, a purpose in life. Your life looks meaningful and hopeful to you because you're working towards something to achieve something. Okay, you have that hunger which makes you live this life. But those who have nothing left to achieve, who are already successful, who are famous enough, who have a good name and fame, they get to see that particular level of achievement which is fulfilling all their human needs. Now it's very difficult for them to hard work to do something which will lead to them to somewhere, and ultimately they get depressed. That's why the depression, the level of anxiety is higher among the successful people than the poor people. So here, complex society, complex mindset was growing on, and this complex mind led to many questions. Now people started asking that, okay, if it is written in the Veda, then there should be a meaning. If rishis, if God, if anyone wrote it or composed it, then what is the meaning of it? Like, if I should go and worship, then why should I worship? What is the meaning of worship? Why it is does? What it does to me? Or how the society will be better by doing it? So we need to understand a point here that it is always said that we are living in a Kali Yuga. But if you just try to understand it from a historical point of view, you will see that today we are living maybe in the best time of the world or the evolution of Earth. Because if you look at the history of human civilizations, you'll find that at that point of time when the Varna system was there, society had less freedom. Okay, things were very limited, and people had to follow few rules very religiously. It was so complex. If you look at the position of women, it really got declined. Position of Shudras, very, very poor. But today, you have a constitution, you have a judiciary, you are having a freedom of life. Even freedom of death is also there. Death with dignity, Article 21. So you have so many things today which somehow made sure that your life is in a better position, because at that time the punishments were very, very harsh, very heinous. Punishment itself looked like a crime, you can say. So yes, all those things were happening. With this complex mind, people started asking questions. No, not just questions, but they started questioning the entire concept of religion. They became philosophical now. So, to give the answers, new ideas came. With these new ideas, new religions came. And the best part of Buddhism and Jainism is that it started accepting masses, and it followed the language of the masses, which anyone can understand and relate and follow. Easy, simple religion with simple rituals or no rituals at all. So it was very easy for the people to follow. So from this complex reality to a new easy future in which they could also seek the salvation, they could also seek the blessing of God without following unnecessary complex rituals and elaborated traditions, people got very happy and they started following these new religions like Jainism and Buddhism. Fine. So that is something which we need to trace here, that what kind of complexity was there and then we will see the rise of new things, new religious concepts. Fine. So I was talking about the later Vedic era in the last class, so that I want you to write. Please put the subheading in your notebook. We ended the topic, the last topic on the Vedic era. So we will connect from the later Vedic era today. So please put the subheading later Vedic era. Okay, this is your heading. Now put a small subtopic under it. Economy. Economy. So we need to discuss the economy during the Vedic period and later Vedic period. As I told you, economy was very simple and stagnant in the early Vedic era. So in the early Vedic era or Rig Vedic era, people had a tribal society, they had a tribal economy, and they were pastoralist in nature. So they had more importance for the cattle. But now, after the discovery of iron, land became important. So, land related economical things will be more highlighted. So, please write first about the Rig Vedic period economy. Rig Vedic period economy. Number one, point number one, cattle was the medium of exchange. Cattle was the medium of exchange, and number of cattle determined the wealth. Like today, number of lands and houses determines the level of wealth today, right? If somebody is having 10 bungalows, then you will consider that person very rich, that he is having such a big area of land. So many, land areas are under his name. He has registered all these things under his name. So this is a very new concept which you need to understand. And see, we are a new country right now. In this modern time, if you will try to just correlate things from the modern perspective, so India as a country, as a nation, is very new, right? We have not even completed 100 years of independence. So we are very new in this world, and we are still learning. Nation is still in making. But in the present scenario, you will see that many points are still uh, very easily correlated with the later Vedic era. So many of the complexities like the caste system, the vote bank politics, the communalism, which you see today, those issues have their roots in the later Vedic era. Okay, so we'll see all those roots one by one. So I hope you have written the first point about cattle. So how number of cattle determine the level of wealth. Point number two, wealthy person was called go mat. Wealthy person was called gomat. 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 Third point, concept of private property was not well established. Concept of private property was not well established, and barter system was the model of exchange. Barter system was the model of exchange. Fourth point, the term IAS used for copper or bronze, AYAS, IAS or IAS. The term IAS, AYAS, was used for copper and bronze, shows that metal working was known to them. Shows that metal working was known to them. Okay. Now, please write the next point. Later Vedic period or iron phase economy. Point number one. Agriculture was the main occupation now, and iron plowshare was used now. With transplantation, paddy transplantation, production increased and surplus agriculture made it a developed economy. Next point. Beginning of the use of iron is mentioned as Sunya IAS. So IAS means metal and Sunya IAS means iron, because iron काला होता है. Sunya IAS. Sunya IAS, comma, Krishna IAS. Sunya IAS, or not comma but slash you can write. Sunya IAS or Krishna IAS. Next point. Copper, tin, lead, silver, gold, bronze were well known to them. Copper, silver, lead, bronze, tin, gold were well known to them. All these metals were well known to the later Vedic people. Next point. Money lending became common. Comma. Shreshtis indicate the guilds or organization of merchants. Shreshtis. Okay. Shreshtis indicate the guilds of the merchants or organization of the merchants. So basically, we saw that now guilds became very important. So what is a guild? Basically, guild is a group. It's like an organization where traders, they come together to help each other in the business. It's like the like nowadays it's very famous to see the entrepreneurs meeting, where they meet and then they make a group. So basically, in the group, they decide to help each other. Like they can lend money to each other, they can share contacts, they can share the route details, like how to trade in which sense, how they can increase their business. So these experienced people, experienced businessmen, they made their guild. Many of the guilds became so powerful and famous at that time that they started contributing in the developmental activities also. They started making canals, roads, helping people. They became very popular, and they used to influence the kings also sometimes in their decision making. They used to give taxes also, so of course the payment of tax was very high from the guilds because they were trading. So traders and these businessmen, these people, they were very well established. Fine. Please write the next point. Money lending became common, and shreshtis indicate the guilds or organization of merchants. Next point. Weaving was confined to women. Weaving was confined to women. Next point. Land holding was common over which the wish or clan had many participants. Wish, Vish, Vish, or in bracket clan, had many participatory rights, and the head of the household and the head of the household who owned the land was called Grahapati, and cattle became a movable property. And cattle became a movable property. So if you are the landowner, then you will be known as Grahapati. So that is your immovable property. Land can't be moved here and there. And if you can have cattle also, so that is something additional you can keep with you, which is a movable property. Fine. Next point. Satmana, a piece of gold. Satamana, Satamana, a piece of gold. And Nishka, Nishka was used as currency along with the barter system. Barter system was there in the Vedic period. It was only thing which was there, but now barter system was there, but it was too low. Okay, next point. Please write next point, which is not related to economy, but we need to discuss some cultural and religious details about the later Vedic era. So there is a site very important, Atranjikhera. Please write. Atranjikhera or Atranjikhera. This is the name of a place. Is a prehistoric site on the bank of Kali River. On the bank of Kali River, comma, a tributary of Ganga, full stop. This site was first identified by Sir Alexander Cunningham. Underline the point. Sir Alexander Cunningham. This site was first identified by Sir Alexander Cunningham, Cunningham, in 1862 AD. 1862 AD. Full stop. The earliest evidence of iron use in this region, the earliest evidence of iron use in this region dates back to 1150 BC. 1150 BC, 1150, 1150 BC. Okay. Next point, please write. Religious changes in the later Vedic era. Religious changes. First point. Animal sacrifice began on a large scale, Pashubali, animal sacrifice began on a large scale. Second point, Indra and Agni lost their importance, and Prajapati, the creator, the creator god, took their place. Rudra and Vishnu god also became very important. Symbolic and idol worship was prominent now. Ashwamedh, Vajpaya and Rajasuya were some important yajnas. Ashwamedh, Vajpaya, Rajasuya. Ashwamedh Yagya, Vajpaya Yagya, Rajasuya Yagya. Third point. The items of Dan and Dakshina included cooked rice, till was also used in the rituals. Okay. Now, after this, the later Vedic age started progressing, and finally we got to see the rise of Buddhism and Jainism in India. So now we will discuss about Buddhism and Jainism, and now we will see the development of new architectures. You will see that initially when Buddhism and Jainism were there, uh, these two religions are contemporary of each other, we can say. They both had a kind of a concept with them, but Jainism was more extreme. Jainism believed in soul, and Jainism was completely non-violent. But Buddhism became more popular than Jainism in India because Buddhism always followed a mid path, which was easier to follow. It had no extreme rituals or rules and regulations like Jainism had. Now, if we look at the monasteries at that time, in monasteries many monks started living. So, Jain monasteries were also there and Buddhist monasteries were also there. So, both Jain and Buddhist monks went from place to place throughout the year teaching people. Now, I have a question for you. However, they used to travel every time, but there was a point or there was a time period in a year when they used to settle, when they used to wait, maybe due to a particular season or what. But at that time, the movement was on hold. So you need to tell me in which season or in which period, on which part of the time, annually these monks used to stop and they used to avoid the travel. When and why? Why they used to avoid it? Why they stopped? Because traveling was the nature, it was a rule, it was a basic rule for them. But throughout the year they used to travel, but only once they used to stop. So you need to tell me when and why. Okay, in the comment box. I'll see who will give me the right answer. See guys, after this, in the chapter 7, it is about Ashoka the emperor who gave up the war. So basically, the chapter in your class 6th NCERT is very less in the content, which is about Buddhism and Jainism. But we can't go like this. As I told you, we are going topic wise. So instead of jumping to this chapter, I want you to write about few points related to Buddhism and Jainism and understand those points first. Then we will move to the next chapter. Fine. So today we will dedicate the entire session about the rise of Buddhism and Jainism. So please write the first point. Buddhism and Jainism were two main religious reforms. Buddhism and Jainism were two main religious reforms in the history of Indian religions. In the history of Indian religions in the second half of 6th century BC, in the Middle Gangetic Plains. Middle Gangetic Plain. Both were an egalitarian religion, means they used to preach equality, egalitarian. Both were an egalitarian religion and questioned the Vedic religion Okay, next point, reasons behind their origin. Okay, next is the subheading, you can write reasons behind their origin, why it got rise. So I told you, first reason, society became very complex. Second reason, Vaishyas wanted to uplift their social status. Third reason, Kshatriyas also had some clash with Brahmins at that point of time. Fourth reason, a lot of animal sacrifice was happening, which was bad for the economy, and it was the need of the hour. Fifth reason, for the equality seekers like women, Shudras, Vaishyas, all of them, they thought to come together, rise together with a new religion, because in Hinduism they had no acceptance at all. Fine. So now let's understand the reason. So I told you one important reason here, that Kshatriyas had some clash with the Brahmins. Now this is a very easy to understand clash, because it will always happen. As I told you that in a Varna system, we saw that Brahmins were at the top and Kshatriyas were the rulers. Okay, so a king or a ruler is always at the top in a society, so powerful with so much of army. But even after having so much of power, the king will be always in control of these Brahmins, these priests. It is very similar to the society in Europe. Okay, just try to correlate a point here with the European history. However, it is a part of your world history, but as we are moving topic wise, let's touch a point there. In French Revolution also, we saw a similar situation where the society was divided into three estates in France. That's why in 1789 the French Revolution happened. So on the top they had the clergies, and then they had the nobles, and then common people. Third estate, common man. So here only these people in the third estate used to pay the taxes, and that's why they started the revolution, so that they could get some equality. So for equality, liberty, fraternity, the French Revolution happened. Basically in European society, not just in the France but in the entire Europe, there was a system of dark age which will be there in the middle times, you will see. And that dark age was already here in India. You can say that we already saw a dark age when the later Vedic age was going on, and we came out of that dark age, and then we saw the golden age, the developments way before the Europeans. So we saw all the kinds of developments. We had to beat that dark age, and we saw the golden period. We saw the Renaissance also in India, which was before Europe. So India saw Renaissance before the Europe, because in the Mauryan period and the golden age of Gupta age saw the Renaissance in India, because we became very aware. We had a very golden history. But if you look at the history of Europe, you will find that they got Renaissance in 15th century, which is AD, not BC. Okay, 15th century AD. But here, what I want you to understand is that this is a system which is very complex, in which sometimes clergies, church, they used to keep an eye on the king. they used to have most of the lands with them under their control. They had the mindset of the society under their control. So whatever they used to say, people used to follow, because people used to follow the religion very blindly. So that blind faith was there, due to which kings, nobles, ministers could not start any developmental projects. That's why they helped in the Renaissance. A lot of contribution came from the liberal kings during Renaissance, during Enlightenment. Why? Because they wanted to end this kind of a system where clergies or church, religious people, religious masters are performing some social levels and just moving in this dark age, and people are blindly following them, due to which no discovery was happening, no inventions were happening, and there was no development at all. And this was a kind of a problem, because king's success was largely dependent on these freedoms. So to get these freedoms, financial freedom, economic freedom, king had to bring on the Renaissance in Europe. Here also in India, the problem was similar. In the ancient times, these Brahmins, they had most of the important lands under their control. They also used to control the mind of the people. Okay, they used to control the mind, because religiously they were the connectors of public and the god. So everyone used to listen to these Brahmins. Even Kshatriyas, whenever they used to perform any rituals or anything, they used to call these Brahmins, because Brahmins only legitimize the position of these kings. That okay, this king is a divine king. You should follow him because he is good for you. You should pay him the tax. You should always understand that his all rules and regulations are important for you. Somehow that kind of a mindset was created in the society, and as at that point of time people were not that educated, so they just used to listen the priests, they used to listen the Brahmins, they used to go to the temples, they used to just follow this faith, and they could never imagine that these Brahmins are legitimizing the position of Kshatriyas in indirect way, and they just thought that okay, this king is having some divine rights. Fine. So after some time what will happen, that there will be a clash. Brahmins are already on top according to the Varna. So Kshatriya will see that even after being a king, we are coming on the second ladder. And this thing is still prevalent in society. I will just tell you this point. You won't be able to believe. I have seen many Brahman families, still they don't consider marrying in a Rajput family. Still, in today's time, in the present time, if you know a Brahman family, if you are someone who is having a friend, or if you see the society, you will be able to see this. That still this kind of mindset is there. So it was in depth. Brahmins used to think that we are on the top. These Kshatriyas are under us. These Kshatriyas will come after us. So we should be at the top, and we are at the top. But king, who is a king, ministers, nobles, these powerful people, they thought that even after having such a high position and power in the society, we are at the second ladder. We are not considered on the top. Religiously, we are still under some pressure and control. And if we lose this legitimacy of being a king or having these divine rights by those Brahmins, then we'll lose everything. And somehow wherever they used to change some rules, some laws, if they wanted to do something, they always had a pressure from the Brahmins. Religious pressure was always there on the Kshatriyas. So somehow they started a rebellion. They thought to bring something new, in which Kshatriyas can also come on the top. Okay, so please write the reasons behind the origin. Number one, the Kshatriyas who acted as rulers, the Kshatriyas, and you will see that both Buddha and Mahavira, they were Kshatriyas. Okay, they came from Kshatriya Varna. So the Kshatriyas who acted as rulers reacted strongly against the Ritualistic domination of Brahmins. Ritualistic domination of Brahmins. Next point. Introduction of new agricultural economy. Introduction of new agricultural economy in northeastern India. In northeastern India, and use of iron facilitated the clearance of thick forests for large settlements and agriculture expansion. Next point. The Vaishyas extended generous support to both Mahavira and Buddha to improve their social position. To improve their social position. Okay. Next point. Not point, but next topic you need to write. First, we will discuss everything about Jainism, and then we will discuss everything about Buddhism. Okay. So let's start from the Jainism today. Please put a heading and start from a new page. Jainism. Now understand few common things, that both Jainism and Buddhism used to talk about non-violence. Like they said that there is no use of sacrificing these animals. Why to sacrifice animals? Just to fulfill your wish, you are killing a life. So non-violence was preached. So initially they were not very successful. But later when they started preaching non-violence, when they started preaching equality, then these religions became famous. So first we will write about Jainism. Please write Jainism. Jains urged the masses to prohibit agriculture, because it involved the killing of microorganisms. तो खेती भी नहीं करनी है. Okay, you can eat whatever fruits and shoots and other things are available to you by the nature, but don't try to do the agriculture. So Jainas were more extreme, you can say. Next point. Jains principally confined themselves to trade and mercantile activities. Let me have some water. Okay. We were writing about Jainism, right? They believed in 24 Tirthankars They believed in 24 Tirthankars or prophets, Tirthankars, Tirthankars. So what is Tirthankar? Tirthankar means Dharma Guru. Okay. So बहुत पहुंचे हुए बाबा होते हैं, जैसे वो किसी रिलीजन को बहुत पॉपुलर बना देते हैं. So we had 24 Tirthankars basically. First was Rishabdev. Okay. And then you will see that Mahavira was the 24th Tirthankar. Before him, we had already so many Tirthankars. So just before Mahavira, we had Parsavnath. So till the time of Parsavnath, in Jainism, only 4 constraints were there. Okay, Satya, Apargriya, Asteya, and then you will see one more concept was there. I don't remember right now. It's not coming to my lips. You can just write in the comment box. But you will see that when Mahavira came, he added one more constraint, and that was Brahmacharya. So the concept of Brahmacharya was added by Mahavira, and that made Jainism very popular when he came. That's why sometimes it is considered that Jainism was started by Mahavira. But no, Jainism was not started by him. Jainism was already there, but it became very popular. It attracted many masses after Mahavira joined it. Okay. So please write, they believed in 24 Tirthankar or prophets. Full stop. Rishabdev, born in Ayodhya. Rishabdev, born in Ayodhya, was the first Tirthankar who laid the foundation of orderly human society. Orderly human society. His reference is found in Vayu Puran. His reference is found in Vayu Puran and Rig Veda. He belongs to current half cycle of. He belongs to current half cycle of regressive happiness. Avasarpini. Regressive happiness in bracket Avasarpini. Avasarpine. Pini. Cycle of regressive happiness. Okay. Next point. Parsavnath, son of King Aswasen and Queen Vama of Varanasi. Parsavnath, son of King Ashwasen and Queen Vama Vama of Varanasi, was the 23rd Tirthankar. Was the 23rd Tirthankar who was born at Varanasi. He attained liberation on the summit of Mount Samed Shikhaji. Mount Mount Samed Sammed Shikaji Shikaji or Sammeta Smmeta Sammeta in bracket Parasnath Hills. So he got the liberation on Parasnath Hills. Next point. Parsavnath main teachings were. So these included 4 constraints. Number 1. Yes, now I remember. Non-violence, ahimsa. Non-violence, ahimsa. non-stealing, asteya, non-lying, satya, non-possession, apragriha. Now here the fourth point is most important. Apragriha means not possessing anything. त्याग दो सब कुछ, ठीक है, त्यागने का दिन है. So I met a Jain family also, and they were celebrating this day of sacrifice, tyag, in which they were saying that we will not keep anything with us. They were not eating anything, they were not drinking anything, they were not taking anything with them. Minimalistic clothes, minimum habits, minimum lifestyle. So what they wanted to show that with bare minimum requirements, we can fulfill our needs and lead a very happy life. Okay, so why should you have no possession? Why should one follow this? The reason is, when you will have possessions, you will always have the problem of maintenance. If you will keep possessions with you, you will have the issue of maintaining it, and nobody can deny this fact. If you have possessions, you will need to bear the maintenance, you will need to keep it with you, and you'll always worry about this thing, that what if someone steals it, what if someone takes it away from me, what if it goes away. Even if you have a person with you, even if you have a partner, life partner, anyone with you, your friend, your family member, if they are attached to your life, that attachment will lead to sorrow, because now you'll be always concerned about them. If you have a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, anyone, you'll always have this mind that what if I lose him or her? What if he cheats on me? What if she does something wrong? What if she goes with someone else? All these things will come to you only if you will have the attachments. But if you have no attachments, then there will be no problem. Okay? Now, please write the next point. Prabhas Giri, Prabhasgiri, Prabhasgiri is a Jain pilgrimage site. Prabhasgiri is a Jain pilgrimage site located in Kaushambi, Uttar Pradesh. Located in Kaushambi, Uttar Pradesh, comma, related to 6th Jain Tirthankar, related to 6th Jain Tirthankar, comma, Padma Prabhu. Padma Prabhu. So Padma Prabhu was also very famous Tirthankar. He was the 6th Jain Tirthankar, and his very important pilgrimage site is there, which is in Prabhasgiri in Kaushambi. So that's very famous. Next point, Vardhaman Mahavir. Vardhaman Mahavir was the 24th Tirthankar, or Jina, Jina. Jina means the conqueror. So basically Jainism or Jain means what? Conqueror, who can conquer his senses. If you conquer your senses, then you are the winner of your life. You can manage your senses according to your demands, your wishes. You can command your mind, you can command your tongue, you can command your body, that okay, I want this is right, and you need to do it. You need to work on all these things according to my wishes. But if you are moving according to your senses, your mind is saying, let's sleep, let's not study today, and you just went accordingly because your mind asked you to do it. You are a soul. Okay, basically we are a soul and we have a body, but people think like, no, I am this, my name is this, and I am having a soul inside me. There is a soul which is there in me. No, you are the soul and you have a body around you. So you are having this body to keep yourself happy, to work for you. It's your servant. So you need to make it work for you. But people, they don't understand that this is their servant. They work and do things for their servant. If eyes are saying, let's sleep, they will sleep. If tongue is asking for a tasty food, they will eat. If they will not eat, it will suffer. So that's what Jainism is asking you to understand. That actually suffering is important. If you are suffering, if you are having that penance with you, tapasya, then that is good, because you're making yourself strong. Your body will be strong. You're making your mind strong. So you should have that resistance and struggle in your mind to say no, to stay away from the worldly desires and happiness. No, that is not a real happiness. That is only for some time, for few seconds maybe. But after those seconds will be over, your happiness will be over. So that's why these concepts became very famous now. People started liking it. I'm pretty sure that when I'm speaking these words in front of you, you're feeling very attached to my statements, and somehow it is influencing your mind. So assume that the way it used to influence the mind of people when Mahavira himself used to speak those words. People got so attached with Mahavira. They thought that yes, this is the right religion and we should follow this path only. This is really something which can change the life. Okay, so Vardhaman Mahavir was the 24th Tirthankar or Jina who attained the infinite knowledge or enlightenment, and helped others to attain salvation from the cycle of rebirth. Now understand what is the difference between enlightenment and salvation. Basically, enlightenment is being aware of yourself and this world around you and getting the infinite knowledge. What does it mean? That you understand the meaning of life, your life, and yourself. Then that is enlightenment. You must have seen that many of the people nowadays, it's very popular search on YouTube, they search, who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Why am I living? When everybody will be dead, there will be a time. Death is such a big truth of this, life. Then why are we afraid of death? Who am I in reality? What is reality? What is truth? So these questions are very well searched. People are asking about it. And even when they meet a great motivational speaker or a preacher, they still ask the same question, that what is the purpose of life? And you'll be surprised to know that nobody has the answer, because they are still discovering it. They don't know it, they are discovering it. And in this journey of discovering the right knowledge, the truth, the reality of life, the reality of themselves, they attain enlightenment. So enlightenment is getting the true knowledge, fine, which is while living in this life you get that true knowledge, so that you utilize your life accordingly, you utilize your body accordingly, and you don't become a slave of your mind and body. Fine. So why we need this enlightenment? So that we can utilize this life in a better way. Fine. If I give you something which is very precious, but you don't know how to use it, you don't know how to get the best out of it, then you'll never be able to understand the importance of that thing. Fine. So this knowledge is also like this. If I'll just give you a knowledge and I'll say that, okay, this is a very important knowledge and you should keep it preserved with you, follow this in your life, then you'll not follow. Why? Because you have not attained it by yourself, by your understanding. No, you just got it randomly with my statements or maybe by any other way. So you will have very less importance for that because you never thrived for it. Fine. So this is a very important point. So to make you understand, I feel like this is very common today, that you can always watch the video documentaries of people who lived this kind of life and got this kind of enlightenment. And why this is so much needed? Because this enlightenment can only give you salvation. In a proper way, you can get salvation after getting enlightened. Now the question is, why salvation is needed? Why this much of hustle is there? Why so much of hurry is there? Why so much of pain is there? Why salvation is needed? So the answer is that salvation is the end of the rebirth cycle. Because whatever is born will die. So once you are born, you are a newborn baby, you don't have a lot of tensions in your life. You cry, you get the milk. If you'll cry more, you'll get someone to hold you, to move you here and there, to play with you. You just need to cry and you'll get whatever you want. That's why for kids, for small, not just kids, but small infant babies, crying is their habit. They cry for everything because they know that if I'll cry, they'll give me this, they'll do this for me, they'll do that for me. They get pampered. That's why we humans, we like pampered. We like to be pampered. We like pampering. And this is a very great level of reality. But that pampering will reduce with time. Once you will grow up, nobody will pamper you like that. The way they used to do it when you were a kid. Then you need to go to the school, you need to see the realities of life, challenges, pressure, exam pressure, job pressure, family pressure, life partners pressure. Then you need to take care of your kids. Then you'll see your parents getting old. You may lose your parents. You may see the deaths of your most important people attached to you. You will be losing your attachments, and that big level of shaking of your soul will really make it painful for you. So that's why it is said that life is sometimes very painful. And to end this pain, salvation is the only solution. Why? Because even after the death, you should not consider that, okay, once I'll die, everything will end. No, you will get the rebirth again. And then you will suffer again. This suffering will never end. Again, you will come in a process of life, again with new experiences, new journey, new learnings you need to live, and you need to see the world, and this will go on and on and on. So to achieve salvation, you need the right knowledge, true way of living the life. Fine. Now please write the next point. Life events of Vardhaman Mahavir. Life events of Vardhaman Mahavir. Please write first point. 540 slash 599 BC, because the date of birth is still not confirmed. So maybe 540 or 599. So it was around 550 BC, you can say, in short. So 540 to 599 BC, 540 slash 599 BC, village Kundagram near Vaishali, he was born. His father was Siddharth, and mother was Trishula. And Vardhaman Mahavir is also known as Jitendra or Arihant. Jitendra or Arihant. Next point. He renounced the world at the age of 30 years. He renounced the world at the age of 30 years in the search of truth, becoming ascetic. Becoming ascetic. He wandered for 12 years and practiced fasting, meditation, and austerities. 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 He wandered for 12 years and practiced meditation, fasting, and austerities. He attained Kaivalya Gyan or enlightenment. Kaivalya, Kaivalya, on the banks of Riju Palika River. On the banks of Riju Palika River, and in the field of a householder, and in the field of a householder named Samag, Samaga, Samag, at the age of 42 years. Next point. He passed away and became Siddha, Siddha, at the age of 72 years in 468 or 527 BC, 468/527 BC at Pavapuri near Patna. At Pavapuri near Patna. Okay, full stop. So basically this is a basic timeline of the life of Vardhaman Mahavir, but in different traditions there are different dates, there are different timelines, but this is a basic historical timeline which should be there in your mind. Okay, so basically when Mahavira got the enlightenment, he got followers from all the sections of society, and he was contemporary of Buddha. He added the fifth constraint in the Jainism. Please write this, that he added the fifth constraint in Jainism known as Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, full stop. The five principles when observed by a common follower. The five principles when observed by a common follower in a less rigorous manner, are known as anuvratas. 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 The most important part is that he included women also in their society. So Mahavira permitted women to join the Sangha also, which is very important point about him. Okay, so basically I feel we have discussed a lot about the rise of Jainism and the Mahavira. So next part will be about the spread of Jainism and Buddhism. So in the next chapter, I'll try to complete the entire topic of Jainism, Buddhism together. A brief introduction is given to you now, and I hope you're writing all the notes. If you have any doubt, you can let me know in the comment box. Now, if I come to the questions, like what kind of questions are asked, then there is no limit of or the trend of question which comes from the topic Jainism and Buddhism. It is the favorite topic of UPSC after the IVC. Means if we talk about the important topics of ancient history, the first important topic is the Indus Valley Civilization, IVC, Harappan Civilization, and everything from the Harappan Civilization, everything from the sites, each and every point, each and every detail is important. So if you'll ask me that what is important in IVC, then I may not give you the right answer, because every point looks important to me. I have analyzed the 20 years of prelims paper and 10 years of mains paper, and I can see that each and every point is important and you should not leave anything when you are reading IVC. Same formula applies to the concept of Buddhism and Jainism as well. So when you are reading about Buddhism and Jainism, try to be as detailed as you can, include as much as you can in your topics, and keep everything with you, because this is a very important topic, and you must try to understand that it will help you and benefit you in many ways if you will cover these topics in a nice way. After completing Buddhism and Jainism, we will move to the new societies, new cultures, and ultimately you'll see the rise of Magad, then the Mauryan Empire, the important topics like Mauryan Empire, later Mauryan stage. We'll see few foreign invasions also in the ancient history. So that will be covered in the next class. I hope you enjoyed the class today. I hope you like the pattern which we are doing, this topic wise pattern. But still, if you have any doubt, if you want to add anything in these sessions, you can always comment down below. We are starting a new group on Telegram, and we are providing few free handwritten notes and PDFs to you. So if you want to join, you can join the group by clicking on the description box. The link is there below, and by clicking on it you'll be able to join us and connect to me, and personally you'll get guidance, you'll get all the types of mentorship and things required for the exam. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you then. Take care. Bye bye.